In the previous section, we saw the initializing beans after property set method and disposable beans destroy method. Along with that, we also coded our custom init method and custom destroy method. So now next we'll use BeanPostProcessor class to implement the init method and destroy method. So problem with this approach, initializing beans and disposable beans approach, is we need to write the separate code for each bin in our XML file. So for each bin we have to define the init method and destroy method. So if I want only one method to get executed after creation of each bin, then it is difficult. So for each bin I will have to write the init method and destroy method in the Spring configuration. So using BeanPostProcessor, only one method will get called for each bin. So for each bin that we are creating, only single method will be called. So first of all, to implement this BeanPostProcessor, we need to know that we should know that we should create our own class, and it should implement the BeanPostProcessor interface. So I have created this display name BeanPostProcessor which will display the name of each bean which is getting created, and which will also display the name after bean is destroyed, the pre-initialization and post-initialization. So this class implements bean post processor, and this interface has some unimplemented methods. So there are two unimplemented methods. One is post process after initialization and post process before initialization. So this method will get called before initialization of object, and this method will be called after initialization of the object, and this method returns the object. So this method takes the object and string as arguments. So let's print here something. So let's say this is bean object, and let's say string is bean name. So I want to print the name of each bean which is getting created. So bean name, and I will print here the name of bean which is getting created after initialization. After initialization is getting for bean plus bean name, and we will return the bean object. Again, same message will be, I'll copy paste here. So here it will be before. Bean name, and it will return the bean object. So now this BeanPostProcessor is a separate class, and Spring RC container does not know when to implement this class or when to call the methods of this class. So in order so if we want Spring container to know that this class must be called after creating the object. So we should write the attribute, we should add the attribute in our spring config.xml file. So in this file we need to add the bean class is home.city.training.lifecycle and the name of the class is name bean post processor. Okay, so we need to add here closing braces. Here. Okay, so we have added the class in our spring config file, and we have also created our own BeanPostProcessor class which implements the BeanPostProcessor interface. So now let's run the application. So here we are getting the before initialization is getting called for bean manager, and after initialization is getting called for bean manager. So I have I have created three objects in class employee which is of type manager. So before initialization of first object we are getting this message. After initialization of first object we are getting this second message. Same goes for another two objects, which is manager 1 and manager 2. So finally our employee object is getting created. So this employee object is dependent on this managed object, so that's why it is getting created at last. And after creation of objects, this our employee is getting printed. So this was all about the BeanPostProcessor class. So we have done the entire life cycle of Spring Bean. So we started with initializing beans after property set disposable beans destroy method. Then we have implemented our custom init methods, and after that we implemented a BeanPostProcessor class, and we implemented the methods of BeanPostProcessor, which the methods are nothing but before initialization and after initialization. So thank you.